Hey, Rockstars. Thanks so much for tuning into episode number 9 on the Rockstar Business Builders podcast. I'm Kyle Goldie, and today on the show, I'm bringing in Tiffany Alford, an ad copy and copywriting expert, author, and entrepreneur. She's absolutely crushing in her field, and that's exactly why I wanted to bring her onto this podcast and share some real knowledge about ad copy. After all, high-end, intelligent, and effective copywriting is overlooked by many creative professionals, and it's something that I want to address before we get too deep into a huge number of podcast episodes. So why, might you ask? Because it's something to improve on before so much else of your business if you want that shortcut to success. Intelligent and effective copywriting can make the difference between a business that has a few customers trickling through to an absolute flood of new and repeat business. And here on the Rockstar Business Builders podcast, you know that we always go deep with the info and treat these interviews as free audio workshops. So I'll be asking Tiffany all the things that you'll want to know in order to strengthen your copywriting skills. So as I've always promised, let's get straight down to it and learn from Tiffany on some of her best tips on improving your ad copy and the reasons behind them.
You've envisioned the idea. You've identified the opportunity nobody else could see. And you've decided you're going to turn your badass idea into your badass business. Let's crank that idea up to 11. This is the Rockstar Business Building Podcast. And here you'll get hashtag all the things related to running your business and your life as a creative entrepreneur. We're creative, passionate people, and together we'll cut the fluff and get straight to the good stuff with your host, photographer, coach, and educator, Kyle Goldie.
When it comes to copywriting, and if you're anything like me at the beginning of my career as an entrepreneur, copywriting was 100% completely overlooked. I didn't even think to care about it. Heck, I even graduated from business school, and ad copy wasn't even covered very much, if at all, to my recollection. It wasn't until I personally had a mindset shift over my own businesses that I realized that I could be doing much bigger things that I wanted to create very specific styles of businesses that were primarily online based. So as you can imagine, much of the online sales world is revolved around talented copywriters and copywriting. You know, the things that you see online that you make feel like you're taking action on whatever the person is trying to sell you. You make it to a website and you'll feel compelled. You'll see a call to action and you'll feel the urgency, the desire, the need, the want, and maybe even some scarcity. Tiffany is a pro on the subject. So much so that she's even written a book called The Copy Code: How to Write Irresistible Advertorials That Turn Ice-Cold Prospects into Cold, Hard Cash. I mean, come on, how perfect is that? Because even the title is pulling a lot of the pain points that entrepreneurs have. They want to earn more money. And this book is all about turning cold prospects into exactly that. If that sounds something like you are looking for, and I know that it is, then this podcast episode is for you. So stay with us and just keep listening, because joining us today is Tiffany Alford, an incredibly talented copywriter, author, entrepreneur, and just downright good person. She's the perfect person to come on and chat about this ever popular and sometimes hidden topic. So get your notepad out and get ready to take some notes. Tiffany, I just have to say this right off the bat. I absolutely love that you're an author and that your book, The Copy Code, is selling on Amazon. Because it really just positions you as an expert in the field, and with all the successes that you've had in your career, it's got to feel pretty darn amazing. So congrats on everything. I'm super, super happy for you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's absolutely a game changer to write a book, and it's definitely better than having a business card, that's for sure.
Yeah, I used to have a whole bunch of business cards, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people just toss those in the trash right after I meet them. Because with online businesses these days, like everything is just sold online. But before we dive too deep here, I would absolutely love to learn more about you, where you're from, what your formal training is, if any, and how and why you decided to get into the ad copy world.
Oh, absolutely. Well, as I kind of started out, really, I was a server and a bartender, and I was working two jobs behind a desk and everything. And then I was introduced to a MLM for the first time.
Oh,
And
MLMs, yeah.
yeah, so I saw the potential, but again, I was very skeptical about MLMs. I'm not so great. I still am not big on joining them myself. But I saw the potential in the sales side of it, basically.
Yeah.
So really what I got down to was I started to scrape Craigslist. And I found out that I could find people on Craigslist that needed websites to be built.
Hmm.
And I could link them with people on places like Odesk who could build the website for them. And I would just be the middle person.
Yeah.
So basically, I would just kind of, double the charges so that way I made some money off of it.
Yeah.
And I would just go through and scrape all these leads. And then I got into, selling the leads and also making money off of, closing them on web design. I was basically, our team was doing about 100 cold calls a day. And it got to where it was like so many calls, it was just a hassle. So we wanted to find an easier way to get all that sales done without doing all those calls.
Yeah.
So what we did was we took some knowledge from my partner in crime, Carlos, and we took some stuff from Gary Halbert and some of the greats in copywriting, basically John Carlton, Craig Garber, a few of them. We mixed it up. We came up with a letter, and we sent this letter, a direct mail letter, out to everybody in a small town locally where we were. It benefited because I also have a dad that lived in this small town, and he was a preacher of this town. So he was a well-known, kind of like an authority figure in the town. So I used that, and we like to call it the preacher's daughter letter. So it's basically that was a little bit into the headline. We sent out a letter to all these businesses talking about how I'm a preacher's daughter. The preacher was local. I wanted to help people that were local, these small businesses, increase their business by going online, basically. And so just by sending out this letter, we not only like tripled our conversions, but we didn't have to do all those cold calls. They were now warmed up before they even spoke to us. So it was like a serious game changer to do copy versus all those calls. And it was basically the same thing. It's taking, salesmanship in print. We already knew how to do cold calls. So it was basically taking that and writing it into a letter. More storytelling into it instead of, spill your guts on the phone, basically. But mainly that's how we got into the copy. And then from there, I just kind of expanded, basically using Facebook as much as possible to expand my copywriting business.
Yeah, it's really interesting you talk about cold calling because after a few years of doing what I do as a photographer and coach, I was able to systemize my own business to the point where I was making six figures, working only about 10 hours a week. And so I wanted to get an additional revenue stream going. So I figured, okay, well, if I just want to work from home, maybe I can get into real estate and just work a couple of deals a month and just get some extra income to go on vacations and just, add to my retirement account or whatever that I wanted to do.
Exactly.
So one thing as a new real estate agent is that you have to do a lot of cold calling, a lot of door knocking, and people just treat you like a telemarketer. They'll hang up on you, they'll cuss at you on the phone, and it's just not fun at all.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do after that is figure out how to get better at inbound marketing. So that way I'm just attracting all my ideal clients to me, and sales just become way easier because what you were saying, they're warm by that point. They're just interested by your product. They're contacting you, and all you got to do is just close the sale there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so basically with that, it's turning it around. You're giving them value. You're showing them the value behind everything before you're even getting them on the phone, because you don't want to waste time with people that are going to be no's right off the bat.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But yeah, I have a bunch of questions I need to ask you, and I want to cut out all the fluff and just get straight down to the good stuff, because that's what I promise everyone. And with the listeners here on the Rockstar Business Builders podcast, they're kind of split across the board. They're everything from part-timers who want to ramp up and go full-time, and there's also the people who are already full-time and they're experts in their field who just want to polish the way they run their business. So I've opened up my email and my online communities, and I've received some pretty amazing questions that they had directly for you. So I'm going to go through these in order from the most basic and beginner to a little bit more advanced. So first, would you mind going over what ad copy is and the importance of intelligent and effective copywriting?
Absolutely. Yeah. So copywriting is, like I said, salesmanship in print. So ad copy could be anything from an advertisement to that's on Google or Facebook, all the way down to welcome emails that you're sending because they opted into your blog or something. So it's all kinds of copy, but really it comes down to just a few aspects that every piece of copy has, and that's getting attention, influencing the reader to take action, and basically that urgency to take action right away rather than, waiting and procrastinating and putting it off till later.
Totally.
So whether you're getting them to opt in or whether you're getting them to sales, you want them to take an action right away. So it's all about basically influencing them and getting that attention. That way you can definitely convert them into whatever you're looking to get out of them.
Love it. Because personally, my aim with the copy on my different websites, because again, I have different businesses all for different purposes, but they're all online based.
Yeah.
But my main goal is to solve the pain points and fill the needs, wants, and desires of the website visitor. And I also like to just toss in a bit of humor once in a while, include stats whenever possible for social proof, and the benefits of my products and services. But are there any psychological tricks that we can all go after the subconscious of the prospect that you want turned into a customer? Like, are there any emotional tricks of the trade, so to speak?
Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of tricks to the trade, as you say. It's mainly like, who are you going after and what are you selling? But when it comes down to it, a lot of things come down to like human basic desires and needs. So really it comes down to certain things, and we have a list. So if anybody really wants to get this list, I can give it to you for free. Just, send me a message on Facebook. I have a list of basically the 10 fears and the 10 desires. And they're
That's
just
awesome.
basic human needs that basically it's at that subconscious level that a lot of people don't realize. It's things like being appreciated. The feeling of being appreciated, a lot of times there's a fear that you're going to lose that appreciation, and there's also a desire that you want that appreciation. That goes along, that one desire, when you really think about it, goes along with multiple niches. For example, to lose weight, a lot of people want to feel great about being in their own body and, getting compliments and feeling good about, looking good to other people, being attractive. So really it's about being appreciated about your looks. So, and being appreciated that you took the time to be that way, so it's things like that you could trigger with the emotional connection in your stories. The best way to use a trigger is by using like stories and storytelling. And the reason I say that is because you want to walk your readers or your viewers, depending on if you're using copy or if you're using a video. You want to walk them through a situation or a struggle that has happened already in their life, and something that they're going to resonate with. So you use the pain behind the problem that you're solving with your product or your service. You use that pain and you walk them through it. For example, if it's something like make money, we all know that a pain is time, freedom, and a lot of time, health. So these are a lot of pain points that go along with make money, and sometimes people skip over them. So you want to make sure that you are triggering the deepest pain that they have at that point. You never know, it could be something that's totally different than what you're thinking at that point. And a good way to find that pain point, or to, figure out exactly what your audience is having problems with, is by using forums and reviews. If you go on Amazon and look for a book that is similar to something in the niche that you're writing for, and go to the reviews for it, the good and the bad both give you a perspective and a feedback from people that are going to be likely buying your products as well. So it gives you that emotional side to it. It tells you what they like, what they dislike. Some people, when they hate something, they're going to give you a long story on why they hated it.
Yeah.
So you can take that story and use it, and that already gives you that emotional connection, and they've already given you their perspective from an average day-to-day person. So it's basically using those emotional triggers by storytelling and resonating with them.
That was all so amazing. I hope that everyone's listening, taking notes on all of that, because that was absolute massive value just in that one answer that you just gave me, because you filled it up with lots of different levels to it. You talked about all the emotion. You talked about the fear of missing out. And you even talked about those reviews that you get, even the negative ones. Because what I've seen a lot of people do is they'll internalize those negative reviews and then just not change anything about their business and just carry on, and hopefully they don't get another one. They don't actively, work on those negative reviews and then improve what they're doing in order to better their own business, better their customer relationships, and then just move forward.
Yeah.
Because with the fear of missing out, I want to touch on that a little bit more. Because would you mind talking a little bit more about creating that urgency or scarcity or countdowns or holiday deals or anything like it? Because we all see these things all the time, all over Facebook ads and Google ads. Would you recommend creating things like that, like the urgency or scarcity in products and services? Or is that a pretty dangerous tactic that might dilute the strength and perception of a brand, in your opinion?
That's a very good question, because there can go two ways. Now, with urgency and scarcity, you always want it in your copy, but you don't want to be that salesperson that repels them right away because you're like, buy, 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 and you didn't give anything to it. There was nothing, you didn't show anything. You didn't show value, no benefits, no features, no nothing, so you got to kind of figure out the in-between. So when I say that, being left out, that feeling of, being left out, a lot of people don't correlate that as a human basic desire. The reason I say this is because when you think about it, you're on the playground as kids and you're getting chosen for, let's say, a football team or a tag team. You want to be chosen for the team. You don't want to be the last kid standing there who, I don't know if I want them. I don't know. You don't want to be that kid. You don't want to have that feeling of being left out and being pointed out and being the black sheep. At the same time, there are some times that you want to trigger being that black sheep. You want to trigger that independence in your readers. So it just depends on who you are targeting, who you're going after. But you want to make sure that you are being completely human with them, being one-on-one with them, because you want to be like, look, I want to make sure that you aren't left behind, because this is something that could totally change your life. If I didn't think that it would really change your life, I would not be here, talking to you today. If I didn't really think that this was the cure to cancer, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you about it. Right. But since I completely believe in it and I'm confident that you're going to do amazing with it, then, so it's something like you got to change it. You got to turn it and make it seem like you're their friend. You're their best friend, and you're just trying to help them see the possibility and the opportunity in this situation. It's really like getting them to take the opportunity now rather than, kind of not showing them the benefits and stuff before getting them to take the opportunity. That's the urgency and the scarcity. You want to make sure that they understand that, they could be that 1% that makes it in,
Right.
but also they could be that 99% that doesn't. So which one do they want to be,
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought that up as well, because what I've seen in the education world online is that there's so many gurus that try to pretend like they know absolutely everything about every topic, and they just really don't. The
Exactly.
ones that kind of hone in and go deep rather than super wide are the people that really do get results typically. But I want everybody listening in to do their due diligence before you're hiring a coach, before you're even buying a book. Read those reviews, see what people are getting for the actual results that you're wanting to get. Focus in on the results first and take people off of a pedestal, because there's a lot of big names in the industry, in every industry, but those big names aren't necessarily the best people for you. So I want you to be focusing on the people that are going to be getting the results that you want and how to get those as quickly as possible, as long as you're taking action. So, Tiffany, I want to talk about some repetition here too, because those ads that we see everywhere and all the emails that come out saying this new thing is going to be coming out next week and, get it before Friday at midnight sort of thing. I want to talk about repetition, because when we see all those things all the time, is it really impacting us emotionally? Is it impacting us in the best way where we're going to be buying? Because on the radio, the Facebook ads and the Facebook ads that follow us from all that retargeting, I want to get your experience and your thoughts on if it's actually going to be benefiting the end goal that you're wanting. Does it fluctuate on the price of the product or service? And does the decision ultimately come from seeing that repetition come through more and more?
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, that's a good one, because with repetition, it definitely becomes two sides of it. You could have the subconscious level where you think of commercials and you think, why do they advertise toilet paper when it's something that everybody needs? Well, there's 5 different brands, and that brand wants you to buy theirs rather than their competition. So they're trying to subconsciously get you to buy their brand versus another one, with commercials hitting you on a daily basis, and it's something that's just there. Just kind of similar to car commercials and things like that. On the other side, when you're trying to be a very personal business, when it's something like coaching, or it's something like copywriting, or even something that's service-based where you're doing all their marketing and stuff like that, you're just, a small business. If you want to be more personal with them, repetition is not a bad thing, but what you need to do is you need to change it up and stay consistent with sending out those emails. For example, if you were to send out a daily email, I always recommend, when doing the retainers for daily emails and things like that, with my clients, what I've done is every week has a set, let me change that. Every day of the week has a set theme. So for example, Tuesday could be the day that we talk about what was shared on social media that day. Wednesday could be the day that we promote a product. Thursday could be a day that we share stories from previous successful customers. Friday could be a day where we, talk about the events that are going on or coming up, and, things like that. So it's each day has a different theme. So you're doing repetition because each week has it set, but at the same time, you're giving them something new each day. And you're giving them consistent copy. So they're always getting something from you. They always have you on mind, and you're staying community-wise, because you want to build a community with your audience. You don't want to just build a list of buyers. You want to build a list of returning buyers.
That makes a lot of sense. And I love that you have that format and flow by each week and by each day, because I think that consistency by itself is going to be having a lot more people really comfortable with that particular brand, whoever that brand is. And I just personally really love that.
Thank you.
So here, the next question that I got from the audience when I put this out into the world was, what is the importance of directing your ad copy to one singular person versus a large group, like really niching down and talking straight to your ideal client versus casting a wide net?
Okay, so to do that, basically, when I've spoken throughout this podcast, I have talked about being personal and being human with someone. When you talk to your friend, normally you're not sitting in a group of 5 to 6 people talking. You talk one-on-one. When you call up your family member to, gossip about what happened that week, you don't call up the whole family. You just call up one member. You want to be as personal as possible, and you don't want to hit up multiple people because they don't feel like you're singling them out. They want to feel special. They want to feel like you are showing them attention that you're not showing someone else. And so you want to make sure that they feel this way and that you are singling them out with your stories, that they resonate with them, that, this could have been sent to 10 other people, but really I'm sending it to you because I think that this is what's going to change your life specifically. If you don't speak to someone with the word you or talk to them like you're going to be doing this, then you're basically just speaking as like a third person, and you're just kind of like, nah, like you could do this,
100%.
but it's just basically you don't want to talk to a group. You're not the preacher talking in front of, a group of people. You're talking one-on-one through an email. That email is being read while they're sitting at their desk or while they're standing in line in Starbucks waiting for their coffee.
Right.
So they're one-on-one. They're not sitting there with a group of people reading it together. So you want to make sure that you are talking to your readers and your viewers as one person.
Yeah, I love that. 100% agree with you once again. And the next question I got is there such a thing as too much in your ad copy? Like, have you seen a difference in the results between long form copy versus short form? Or does it greatly differ depending on the medium you're using, like Facebook versus your website versus a magazine ad?
Yes. Okay. So it does greatly differ between long copy and short copy. And it differs between not mediums, but how you're doing it. For example, if you're doing a Facebook ad, if you're doing a video ad, you may not want long copy with the video ad. You may want a longer video and short copy with it. Whereas if you're doing a photo ad, you may want longer copy to go with the photo that may not have any copy in it, no words at all. So, or it may have just a call to action, very tiny. So it just depends on basically what you're writing for. If you're writing a welcome email, then you'll want to write a little bit more, welcoming them to the team or to the group, the community, giving them that welcome feeling. You don't want to be short and, crypt with them. So it's just basically you don't want to intimidate them or be rude in the beginning, as I can say. You want to be as nice and personal as possible. So give them a little bit more of a talk with them. You wouldn't want to walk up and just talk for 2 minutes and then walk away. So with that, you want to do a little bit more copy. But whereas you're doing something that's just a quick promo email, sometimes those can be like, 5 sentences and then your email's done. Sometimes you could do a blind copy email and those are like 2 sentences and it's done. So really it just depends on what you're doing. Sometimes I've actually done with some of my funnels personally is doing a video on the top, but doing the long copy of the video below it. So on the website, sometimes that works versus where you're doing it on Facebook, that wouldn't work with a video ad as much. So it all just kind of depends on where you're going, again, with the mediums you're using and how you're using them, really.
Yeah, that's good feedback as well. Because everyone that's listening here, they all have different sorts of businesses. And what I've kind of noticed is that when you're building out that know, like, and trust factor, being all warm and having that long form copy typically works fairly well in my experience. But then as that know, like, and trust factor has been built, you can kind of shorten it up and get straight to the point with what you're trying to get across.
Exactly.
And that seems to work out pretty well for me and what I do over here. The next question that I had from the amazing community out there in the world is that I talk fairly frequently about testimonials in today's world of online advertising and how important it is for wedding photographers, for wedding planners, for everyone that's in the creative business world. So what's your feelings on the written testimonials versus the video testimonials that we're seeing more and more of nowadays?
Okay, so really it comes back to that being personal. If you do a written testimonial, sometimes in their minds, because it has come out and more people have realized that this is possible, you could buy fake reviews. So the reason the more common knowledge that becomes, the more people are skeptical with reviews and how it looks, how they sound, and things like that. So when it comes to a video testimonial, that's literally someone face to face telling you how awesome this person is, or how awesome this product, or how awesome this service is. And it's giving them, like, for example, when you're thinking of a product, to go ahead and give someone a review, number one, is taking that extra step. You have to really like their product to give them a review anyways.
Yeah.
So to do the testimonial is a big step. To do a video testimonial, they must have loved your stuff to really do a video testimonial. So it's proven just how much that they are invested in your product or service and how much they love it by doing a video versus doing text.
Yeah, and I've seen quite a few people in the online education world, when they have students that are getting really amazing results, in order to get those video testimonials, they're having these hacks, essentially, where they're saying, hey, if you want the next level to my program, I'm going to give it to you for free or for half off or whatever it might be, to get that video testimonial that they can then use on all their webinars or on their funnel on their website or whatever it might be. So getting that really that huge amount of value in exchange for that video testimonial for a lot of people is going to make it worthwhile, just because a lot of people are already so busy in their daily life that creating a video testimonial for someone else isn't that great of a benefit. So you got to give them something in return.
Agreed. Very much agreed. Because that's literally how I set up almost all of my clients. It's part of my 9-step sales system, where you have to, before even starting a project with someone, I set it up, if everything goes smoothly, you absolutely love the copy and everything works out, would you mind, recording a testimonial or, dropping a testimonial here that I can use for future advertisement. And I tell them right away because, I want to be able to let them know that that's going to be shared. Most times I could tell them, I could take your name out of it or things like that. But, I'd rather not. I'd rather leave that so that everybody knows that you are a normal person and you're not a robot. So it's just things like that. Like, it's definitely beneficial, and it's giving you instant credibility and making you the authority figure just by having a testimonial. So it's definitely a game changer for getting those clients and customers.
Yeah, because I've personally noticed that the clients that I have that I coach, whenever they have a list of, let's say, 100 different testimonials that are ranting and raving about these results that they're getting for themselves and their clients, they're just way better of selling their product. It's way easier. They don't have to be salesy at all. All that's going to be coming in is people that are ready, willing, and able to buy. Exactly. So just build out those testimonials as much as you possibly can. Get those going in. Give people value in return for even writing you something, especially if they're doing video. Just give them something in return for getting you that awesome review. But what are your feelings about special offers and giveaways as tactics to draw a new business? I see a lot of it happen all the time in the photography world. I'm not a huge guy on giveaways. I don't really like discounts. I don't like anything like that discounts your brand. But would you recommend adding that into some ad copy at strategic times of the year? Or do you just feel it hurts your brand more than helps them?
I think that there is always a good side to using freebies and giveaways. It just depends on how you're doing it. So, for example, a lot of times people don't see this as a giveaway or a freebie, but the customer does. And that's a free plus shipping. Technically, they think that they're getting it for free, but it's plus shipping, and shipping covers the cost of the product.
Right.
And most times it'll give them a little bit of a profit as well. So basically, it's giving a freebie but you're also making your business is running off of that freebie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you
Yeah.
have to make sure that you're not giving freebies out to the point where you're going into the red and your business is going to fail just because you've only given freebies and you literally haven't gotten any service.
Right.
You want to make sure that you're not going after all of the people that aren't willing to pay. There are a lot of people out there that are looking just to get the free products and then skip out on everything else. So you want to make sure that you don't track those. Sometimes a great way to do freebies or giveaways is to be like, okay, I'm giving away this $7,000 product for $1. Or, something like it's definitely great to do special offers like that and things like bonuses or add in all these free giveaway bonuses because, they just signed up for this. So now they're getting all these bonuses and they didn't know about it until after they signed up. So it's like a bunch of different things that, could be laid out as things that are freebies, but technically aren't taking out of your pocket. And also a great one with photography and things like that, I would only set up to do things like maybe if you could connect with someone that does really great, I don't know if you do this yourself, but that does really, really great videos, highlight videos and things like that, because a lot of times these days, the people love the picture frames that are moving pictures or videos in them. So then you could partner up with someone who does videos, and then that way you're giving like an extra offer or a bonus to your photography, and that's like an extra giveaway, but technically you're both benefiting from it. So make sure that it's somehow, you're both getting like either a cut from it or something. And so that's just an actual special offer. So there's ways to do it and give them freebies and giveaways, but without making your business go in the red for doing it.
Yeah, because you brought up a few really great points there. And regarding the giveaways with photography and video, for anyone who's listening, one way you can go about doing that is you can be saying, hey, here's going to be this freebie offer if you book by X date. So you have the scarcity, the urgency. But when that giveaway, let's say you're having an additional photographer or that videographer that comes in, have your rate be at a rate where you can also still be paying that other person. Just build it into your rate so it appears like it's free to your client.
Yes, exactly. That's what yeah. So that way it's already built in. And so, for example, right now I have a $7,500 product, and it basically does, funnel building and the copy and all that. But there are still aspects to it that I'm not covering. So we've actually partnered with other people, and we've made it now a $10,000 product or a $9,000 product, depending, because, we've partnered with other people, but they don't know that price has changed just by adding on extra things. So they just see that there's extra value and there's way more, in the package than they first thought. So
100%, completely agree. That's really awesome. You guys do that as well, because it's just really smart as you systemize your own business and profit along the way.
Yeah, it's all about leveraging and trying to make sure that you build that team, because for example, I'm not the smartest in the room all the time. I'm definitely
That's good. That's a good thing.
Everything. Yeah. So I definitely want to partner with those people that know things that I don't know, or they have strengths that are my weaknesses. So
yeah, because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Exactly.
So Tiffany, the final question I got for you here. If there's one thing that you want everyone to listen, to know, learn, and implement, what would that one thing be? Like, what do you find more important than anything else when it comes to ad copy and effective copywriting?
I would have to say that it comes down to the mindset. You literally have to get into the mindset of your prospect. If you figure out your targeted audience, you can't get into their shoes, then you can't sell to them. Your copy will be worthless.
I am so absolutely super stoked, honestly, that you just said that, because that is the number one thing that I teach every single one of my clients to do when they're trying to attract new customers. Because if you can't figure out who your ideal customer is, if you can't figure out who yourself is, you're not going to be able to sell to anybody. So figure out that mindset, get super clear on absolutely everything in your life, and then it's just going to be easy from there.
Agreed.
But Tiffany, I want listeners that are tuning in to join you, follow you everywhere. Where can everybody get to know you, follow you, buy from you, and anything else online? Where can they go learn more about Tiffany?
Awesome. Well, I am on Facebook as Tiffany Marie. You can always look me up on, Instagram and Snapchat and LinkedIn and everything else as T Money Mind. And then I also have my site put up for the $7,500 offer. It definitely goes through a bunch of things that we are doing copy-wise. And you can hit me up through that. It schedules a call with Carlos. So if that's not something you're interested in, we can always set up a custom package for you as well. So that one is copypastetemplates.com/steal of a deal. And so just go ahead and check it out. And then, we'll go ahead and schedule a call with you and get everything started.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Tiffany. And thanks to everyone tuning into this episode on the Rockstar Business Builders podcast with ad copy expert Tiffany Alford and your host, myself, Kyle Goldie. As always, you're all so awesome, and thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us. I really, really appreciate every single one of you. So until the next episode of the Rockstar Business Builders podcast, have an incredible day.
This has been the Rockstar Business Building Podcast, our weekly get-together of creative, passionate entrepreneurs. For more guidance on how to build the ultimate rockstar business, visit kylegoldie.com. Sign up for his free newsletter and learn about his online coaching programs designed to crank your business up to 11.